Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to HG Radio, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. Here is your co-founder and host, Kim Becker.
Hello, gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Our guest today is Meg Radde. Meg is a 33-year-old woman that was born and raised in South Bend, Indiana. She is the mother to an 8-year-old boy named Ethan, and at the age of 29, in the summer of 2015, when Ethan was just 4, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, HER2 positive. Her own hormones were fueling her cancer. She was in complete shock with her diagnosis, and while going through a divorce at the time, she remembers looking at her mom and saying, "I thought I was going to catch a break." Meg was a barre personal trainer and in the best shape of her life. How could this be happening? Meg is part of only 5% of the women who get diagnosed with breast cancer under the age of 40. Little did cancer know that she never goes down without a fight. She successfully endured 6 rounds of the trifecta, or the red devil, 11 rounds of Herceptin, a bilateral mastectomy, reconstruction and removal of her ovaries and tubes. One of her implants ruptured less than 2 years after her surgery, resulting in more surgery. Meg is very thankful to be alive. Life has been very trying for the last 5 years. However, she continues to stay positive because that is truly the best way to be. Hi, Meg, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. I'm so glad that you're here. So, with you having such a rare form of cancer, I want to know about your diagnosis. Did you find the lump? Did a mammogram find a lump? Tell me about that process.
So I did find it was about a pea-sized lump in my right breast. And at the time, I didn't really think anything of it. I thought it might have been a fibrocyst or something like that, or maybe overworking my body with all the workouts and training that I was doing at the time. So I just kind of put it in the back of my head and didn't really think anything of it. But then it started causing me pain, and it got bigger, and it got about to the size of a golf ball, where it was clearly protruding out of my chest. You could clearly see it. And then my mom told me, "You really need to go get that checked out." And at the time I was paying for state health insurance, but I was paying for it, but I wasn't receiving any care for what I was paying. So it was kind of screwy. So that kind of put me off in getting it looked at, sooner than later, I guess you would say.
Well, and then because, now mostly you don't get a mammogram until you're 40. Kind of that's when insurance covers it. That's when they quote unquote allow you to get one. So once the doctor, did they have any problems with you getting a mammogram?
Yes, absolutely. So insurance clearly did not want to pay for that. And the doctor that did the biopsy, in fact, told me he was 99.9% sure it was not cancer, because there's never any pain associated with cancer. And I'm too young for that to happen too. And the likelihood of me getting it at such a young age was extremely stacked against me. And so when the results came back, he told me that I was less than 5 biopsies he's done out of thousands and thousands of my age group that actually turned out positive for cancer.
Wow.
So that was a complete shock. But it was, I attacked the treatment, as a plan. Both my parents never showed any fear. They were just as a matter of fact, they said, "Okay, let's do this. We've got this. What do we need to do first? Okay, you're going to meet these doctors, and everything's set up for you." And the nurse in the team have your oncologist already picked, and you go meet all your doctors. And fortunately, I was helped out with the Kelly Cares Foundation,
Yes.
since insurance didn't want to pay for my biopsy and the mammogram and the MRI. The Kelly Cares Foundation covered that 100% for me, which was huge because that was over $7,000 and you know, tests that I couldn't afford to pay at the time.
Well, and that's the last thing you need at that point in time, right? You're facing this diagnosis and you have a small child that you need to take care of. And the last thing you need to worry, how am I going to take care of this? So we love the Kelly Cares Foundation. They do wonderful. And so it's very nice to know that you were able to benefit from them. So from beginning to end, then how long did your treatment last?
My treatment lasted about a year and a half from the chemo. For the chemo alone, now I still take receptor blocker medication, like tamoxifen daily.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I have to be on that for at least another 3 years. Studies are showing that it's can be more effective if you're on it longer. The side effects are absolutely horrible for me from that medication. So it's not that an ending process. It's kind of like you don't go back to the person that you were. You just have a new chapter in your life and you work with the new kind of life that you're living.
That's right. And I think that that's why you've done as well as you have is because of your attitude. And we find that a lot with women that we serve. Many of them are like you. This is just my new normal, right? It's just my old life it's not that it's gone. It's just evolved into something else. And the cancer made me into the person that I am today. And I think that you've got just a wonderful attitude. And that's huge. I really believe that that's a huge reason as to why you're on the other side of this. I really do believe that.
Thank you. Absolutely. And some advice that I always try to give to anybody who's ever diagnosed with any form of cancer or a disease or is fighting anything they're going through, that it's so vital that you save your energy for and your strength and power specifically for fighting the disease. So I just made the point to rid negative people out of my life, to surround myself with people that I know love me and who I love. And, I lost friendships through it, but you kind of figure out who your true friends are when you go through a time of crisis. And it was it was eye-opening, and it just made my situation better because I was only surrounding myself with people who I knew loved and cared about me, and staying positive. That's essential. I mean, you cannot fight the disease without it.
And we found too, so many times that when women are diagnosed with cancer, people don't know what to say. So they just say nothing and stay away. They're fearful of saying the wrong thing. And so I think it's more common. It's not just your situation. I think that as people go through this or women go through this, I think friendships evolve and some of those friendships fall by the wayside. And then there are others that flourish because they were able to support you. But I don't think that, unfortunately, I don't think that that's uncommon. But
no, not at all.
You still feel that. It still hurts. Yeah, it still hurts.
Right.
So tell me, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like to your point before, your life is evolving and it's never going to go back to how it was. So
that's right.
Don't waste your energy on the what ifs, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You just have to keep moving forward.
That's right. That's right. So tell me a little bit. So you said, I read in your bio that your son was 4 years old at the time that you were diagnosed. Like, how did he handle all of that? At 4, I'm not even sure. Did he understand really? How did he do with your hair loss and those kind of things?
So I knew he wouldn't understand. I told him that I didn't tell him initially, like, oh, my mommy's diagnosed with cancer. I just began mentioning to him, mommy's not feeling well, she's sick, and I didn't want my hair loss to be so startling for him. So my hair was pretty
Yeah.
long, and I gradually cut it shorter and shorter, and so that it wasn't so startling for him. It was kind of like I knew I was going to
Mhm.
lose my hair, so I was like, okay, well, let's just slowly cut it shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And then finally, one morning I woke up and my hair was all over me, it was all over him, and that was the point where I was just like, I'm done. So I had my best friend buzz my head for me while my son was at preschool one afternoon. And then I picked him up, and his response was, Mommy, your hair. And I just said, Yeah, I know, honey. I just really wanted to have the same haircut as you do, because he had a buzzed head this time too. And yeah, I was like, Is that okay? And he said, Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, now we can be twins. And it was just kind of seamless. Um,
Good.
I never showed fear to him because I didn't want him to be afraid. I wanted him to know that and feel confident that, we've got this. Nothing's going to
That's right.
change. Keep it as normal as possible.
That's right. And a huge kudos to you, because I feel like, my son is 17. Try and teach him, sometimes there's like high school drama and stuff that goes on, and it's something that I say to my team over and over again, and I instill it to my son, and that is, if you make it a big deal, it's a big deal. So don't make it a
Exactly.
big deal. What you
Mm-hmm.
did was perfect, because you're right, it was just a seamless transition, and you related your hair shortness to something that resonated with him, which was, well, his short hair was short too, so why is it not okay for mommy to have short hair? So that was
Mm-hmm.
brilliant. I think that
Well,
was,
thank you.
people can learn from that, because I really, you make it a big deal, it's a big deal, but if you don't make it a big deal, then it just happens. It's just you just transition.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's great.
Thank
So
you.
you were part of our Hello Gorgeous program, and
Yes.
you were the recipient of makeover. So tell me a little bit about.
Okay, so I was the recipient, and oddly enough, the day that I was surprised by Hello Gorgeous, I had just gotten a call from Ethan's preschool saying that I needed to pick him up from school because he was using curse words correctly. So I
Oh,
was a little stressed and upset. and but considering the circumstances, I wasn't mad. I was, we'll deal with this. So then when my friend was like, we got to go to this place, let's go get a cupcake, I was like, no, I'm not going to reward him for this. Are you kidding me? She's like, just this once, it's fine. And she's a behavioral analysis, so I was like, really, coming from you, this is. But I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. And then sure enough, and then I got surprised, and I was like, this is why we had to come here. That makes sense. And my son started crying because everybody was like, surprise, hello. And it was just, I've never felt so loved and, um, like cared about. It was just simply, it was just so beautiful. And your organization, Hello Gorgeous, is, I mean, for once, I just felt like I didn't have to worry about, you know, fighting cancer at the time. I could just relax and like just be me. And that was okay to do that at that moment, despite the other circumstances going around. And just to feel normal almost. And I use normal in quotations because really it's all relative. There is no normal, everybody has their own normal. But it was just, it, I just have so much, I'm so grateful. And I have so much love for Hello Gorgeous and how they allow women to just be in that moment and be themselves and not have to stress about what's going on in their lives.
And that's one of the things that I always say too, is that the makeover, it's, yes, you get the services and the manicure and the pedicure and the facial and the outfit, are about giving you a 3-hour vacation from cancer. that you don't
Exactly.
have to worry about when your next chemo is, or when your next radiation is, or when, um, and that I'm glad that that's how you felt, because that's truly what what we want to be able to do. So that's awesome. That's awesome. What was your favorite? Do you remember?
Um, well, my favorite part was the reveal because I had no idea um, that my friends and family were going to be invited. I didn't have a clue. And when I walked in the room and I was just expecting it to be everybody who, I was working with and was part of the group for Hello Gorgeous. So I was just like, oh, it's probably them, like we'll just all have, maybe an appetizer, some drinks together or something. And it was my friends and family. I was floored. I was so surprised. I could not believe it. That was my favorite part. And my mom coming up to me and giving me a hug and telling me how beautiful I looked. And definitely my other favorite part was when Ethan, my son, said, "Wow, mommy, your hair grew back fast." And I said, "Oh, it's just the wig, honey." And he's like, "Oh, that's okay."
That's awesome. Oh, and and that was the other thing too. We didn't always have the reveal as part of the program, but I remember women when we got done with them, and it's like we need to go celebrate. Like we need to be able to have something for them to do after the makeover. Like they need to be able to go and they need to be able to celebrate. So share with us your celebration. Like where are you now in your recovery?
So, now in recovery, I am still having issues with my reconstruction. Um, like you said before, I had my right implant ruptured. Um, you know, I, for no, I don't know why it did. I think there was a flaw in it. Less than 2 years of me having it. So then, I had a lot of trouble getting another surgeon to help me with that.
Mm,
And that was another battle as well, is experiencing, just being talked to in a condescending way and thinking that I don't know my own body and
mm.
it's just all in my head, is basically what I was being told. And so that was another hurdle, getting a surgeon to take me seriously and say, let's do an MRI and check this out. And sure enough, it was ruptured. And I was like, I told you so, but I didn't say that. I was thinking that.
Right.
And so this is my second pair of implants, and I'm still having issues. So I'm having my third pair of implants um, put in at the end of January.
Oh, and how is it?
Yes.
Is it pretty easy now though for like there's no spacers or anything now, right? They just take the old ones out and put new ones in. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. But this time I do have to get my chest muscle reattached to my chest cavity. Um, and because, they were actually putting all implants underneath your chest muscle up until about 2 years ago. So then when I had
Okay.
the other ones put in, they put them above because that's the new norm now.
Okay.
But never reattaching my chest muscle to my chest cavity complicated things in there. So I'm hoping this is the last one. Honestly, but I'm just so happy to be alive. Like, if this is if this is all I have to deal with, like, whatever, I'll take it. What's a
Right.
few more surgeries in the grand scheme of
That's
things,
right.
you know?
That's right. That's right. And I really believe in that. So hopefully this will be the last one. But again, I just can't say enough about your attitude, because that having a positive attitude when you go through things, and I've learned to like not ask why. I don't ask why things happen anymore. I started to ask, like, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Mhm.
What is it that I didn't learn the first two times that I'm supposed to learn this time? These are all things that I really try and do to kind of evolve myself as well, and in the hopes that if there is a lesson, because there's always a lesson, but then I make sure that I learn from that lesson too. So
Yes.
you're learning lots of lessons, whether you want to or not. You're learning lots of lessons. So
Oh, of course. Yeah, and that's how you have to look at it. Exactly.
that's right. So you had something kind of exciting happen to you. You've shared with me that you were adopted and that you had always wanted birth mother, and you actually were on TLC's show not long ago. So share a little bit about that story with us.
Oh, yes, that was very exciting. I was recently aired on an episode of Longlost Family on TLC, and specifically it's episode 2, season 4, if you want to check it out. I was in a closed adoption. When I was little, I was adopted through a closed adoption. So, meaning my birth mother signed all rights away, and I had no way of finding her without hiring like a private investigator or something like that. And then, recently Indiana changed their laws so you could get medical history from your family if you were in a closed adoption. So that was something that interested me. And I actually started to do that when my boyfriend's sister watched the show and encouraged me. She said, "You should try this out, like, what do you have to lose?" And I thought, oh God, no, nobody, nothing's going to happen. This is reality TV, blah, blah, And so she said, "I'll do all the paperwork for you." So I was like, okay, done, deal. I'll sign at the dotted line, whatever. So she sent in my paperwork, and days later I got a call from a producer, and I honestly ignored them. I ignored their first 3 calls because I thought it was a spam number. I was like, who's calling me from LA? I don't know anybody from there. And I called them back when I got the voicemail. I actually listened to it. I felt kind of guilty, and I said, yeah. They asked me if I wanted to, do a Skype interview. And basically you do a few Skype recordings and you get pitched to higher up producers and execs. And if they like you, they give you the go. And they gave me the go ahead. And they didn't tell me that they found anything. They sent me a Ancestry.com DNA kit where I submitted my DNA. And they found I had 2 strong matches, 2 first cousins that matched on Ancestry.com. So they were able to approach my cousins to see if, if I was related to them, and if they had a sister or somebody that would have had given birth to a daughter in 86, about 33 years ago. So then
Wow.
they came to shoot the show in the middle of June, and I was able to meet my birth mother. And really, that I didn't have any expectations, and that was something that was really important to me. I did not watch any of the shows that had previously aired. I just wanted to have as much of an authentic experience as I could. And I didn't want to have any expectations, because that's kind of how you can set yourself up for disappointment. And my goal the whole time was, I just wanted to thank her for giving me life and being brave enough to give me life and give my parents a family. And without her decision, I wouldn't be here today. And my son wouldn't be here today. And my parents would have never have had a family. And I just wanted to thank her for the most precious gift that she gave me, which is life. So that was very exciting.
Well, that's great. Just like you said, just to be able to, and I'm sure that there were always some questions too. So the fact that you were able to meet her and get those questions and just be able to say thank you, I think that's what an amazing opportunity for you to be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. And I went to, she's from Minnesota, and I went this past fall to Minnesota and spent a long weekend with her. And I got to meet my 3 half brothers, and I have another niece, and I have grandparents that are still alive, and aunts and uncles and cousins, and it's just so exciting. And they welcomed me in like I was never gone. I mean, I just feel I'm so blessed. I'm very thankful.
That's awesome. Well, and too, I'm sure now, because of the whole breast cancer thing and with it being HER2 positive and you being young, this is probably great for them to have that information.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And there's some history things in there that you were maybe able to close a gap for them that they didn't know about. They can, your niece will put that down on her medical information going forward too. Hey, look, I have an aunt and she had breast cancer. So at an early age, they may do some screenings on her. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we are almost out of time. So I want to say thank you, Meg, for joining us today. I'm so glad you were able to make this work.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. It's my honor.
Well, thank you. All right. Listen, if you have any questions or comments or would like to know more about the guests on our show today, or for more information about Hello Gorgeous, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. We invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and thank you for joining me today on Hello Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker. And until next time, stay gorgeous.